Third month of the year is here. We're in March, baby. And whether your thing is March Madness, Alabama football spring practice, pro days, whatever your flavor is, we got you covered right here on the hottest show on the streets on a Monday, starting your work week off correctly in my own words with yours truly, your conductor of Crimson Tide football information, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, coming to you from the Magic City, that being Birmingham, on this evening. Excited to have all of you tune in, locked and loaded on tonight's show. The show brought to you, or the show being streamed to you through YouTube. Speaking of a channel, go ahead right now, give a thumbs up, hit that like button, turn on all of those notifications so that way you can have the best news, notes, information, and alerts here on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. Hit that subscribe button as well. Not only do we have you covered on YouTube, but also Facebook and Twitter, so all forms of social media got you well taken care of. No excuse for you not to be tuned in to the number one ticket for all things Crimson Tide. Well, here via In My Own Words, gotta shout out my man John Ivory one time in that production studio doing his thing. The show presented to you, brought to you by WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. That is WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. If you haven't done so, go ahead and copy that four-finger bling necklace, four-finger bling jewelry, showing that support for Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, the student athletes, and the pageantry, the dominance, the tradition of owning the fourth quarter. Check them out right now, WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. We have a lot to get to, dive into, discuss, talk about. I've mentioned this once before. It is a great day and time to be a fan, a supporter, or in my case, in the media, when it comes to Alabama football athletics. Football, a national champion. Alabama men's and women's basketball doing big things, softball doing big things, gymnastics doing big things, just the entire Alabama athletics department doing its thing here. Big kudos to one Greg Byrne, who continues to show that he was the right move and is the right move to be the athletic director for the Crimson Tide. But as always, Tide Nation, we want to hear from you this evening. 205-448-1358, the number to call in to let your voice be heard on the show. 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Want to hear from you. The daily super chat goes $75 super chats. The daily goes $75. You guys have been absolutely tremendous. We appreciate the love, the passion, the joy, the excitement that you give to us and making us your show here for Alabama football content. But we hop into now the first topic of conversation on this evening, and it's geared toward the University of Alabama. Put out a press release earlier today about in the fall we will have in-person classes. So we're getting back to having a sense of normalcy on the campus in Tuscaloosa, having the students back in-person classes. The number of cases for the coronavirus have gone down in Tuscaloosa. The number of cases have gone down in terms of the campus. So having the students back this fall and being able to run classes, operate classes to full capacity, have the students on campus, this is huge. This is major for Alabama football. Going back to Greg Byrne, he talked about it today, that Bryant-Denny Stadium, the Crimson Tide will look to have that at full capacity, full go for the fall. This is big, because when you have Bryant-Denny Stadium at full capacity, when you have the University of Alabama campus running at full capacity where the classes are concerned, this means football is back. There's a real feeling of football. There's a real sense of football. There's a real tangible chemistry of football flowing in the air. And last year was a good year. Don't get me wrong. Last season was a fun season. Being able to have the conference-only schedule, going through, playing all SEC games, and taking the best the SEC had to offer, dominating those games, watching the Alabama offense put up the points it did, watching the defense grow throughout the year. It was fun. It was great. It was fantastic. And to end the season with a national championship, to end the season with some unanimous and consensus All-Americans, to end the season with a Heisman winner and Devontae Smith, along with other individual accolades for other players and coaches. As fun as it was, as entertaining as it was, there were moments where it just still did not quite feel like, football. When you're inside of Bryant-Denny, you have the piped-in crowd noise. Piped-in crowd noise just doesn't do it for me, and I know you as fans, piped-in crowd noise doesn't do it for you. So Coach Saban is looking forward to having Bryant-Denny back at full capacity. When you discuss the student body being on the campus, the student body being in the stadium. And a lot of times, the excitement for Alabama football is generated by the students. I mean, I can't tell you of all the times when I was a student on campus, and this goes from 2011 to 2015, I earned my degree in journalism with a minor in computing technology. But I can't tell you of the amount of times where either I was walking to class, or I was going to the quad, or I was going to the rec center, or I was going to the dining hall. No matter where I was in relation to the campus, there were so many moments where I would walk toward groups of students, and they would be having full-fledged arguments about positional battles taking place on the actual field. I mean, there was one time where I think it was 2017, John, if I'm not mistaken, 2017, where I walked through this group of students, and they're talking about Jalen Hurts versus Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, they're sitting here going in about, man, Jalen the quarterback, man, it's Jalen team, it's Jalen time. And the other guy's going, man, you a lie, man, you stupid, bro. You don't know no football, man. It's Tua time. Tua Tagovailoa be slinging pineapples and coconuts all over Jalen here, bro. It ain't no quarterback battle, man. It's Tua team. Did you see Tua out of high school, bro? Did you see Tua out of high school? Or have you been living under a rock your whole life? Like, those were arguments. Those were fierce arguments just stirred by students on the campus. And if it wasn't those arguments, I remember back in 2014, my junior year at UA, walking through students. They were arguing about Blake Sims and Jacob Coker. You had one guy going, man, Blake got the heart of the team. Blake got the ear of the team. It's Blake team, man. Blake Sims time. Big six, baby. Let's go. Strap up. It's six time. And then another student would go, man, bump that noise, man. Jacob Coker, the man, 6'5", 240. Have you seen Jake's arm? Have you seen him rip that thing? Have you seen him fire out that torpedo, fire out that rocket? Man, Blake can't throw like that, man. Blake just run. He'll convert it, running back, DB, receiver. He can't carry that team. I mean, these were arguments, conversations started by students. So they carry that passion, they carry that excitement, they carry that feel for Bama football, and the coaches feed off that energy. Coach Saban has talked about it for a lot of times. He's talked about it at length to where he's had, conversations about how much the students mean to the program, how much the students mean to the success, of a team, having those students in there, having them make noise at Bryant-Denny, having them at the loudest of the loud to where you're affecting the concentration, you're affecting the momentum, you're affecting the process of the other team. He's talked about it, making that stadium loud, making that stadium rambunctious, making that stadium ruckus, making that stadium to where the opposing team feels that pressure of, if we're coming into Bryant-Denny, we have to play against Coach Saban. We have to play against these players, but we also got to play against these crazy students, these crazy folks making all of this noise inside the arena, inside the venue, inside the stadium. And then the players have talked about it. There have been so many players that I have interviewed this past season. They spoke on, man, bruh, like, having the fans in here, it's a big deal. Having the fans back, we miss the fans. We miss the students. It's good to, win the national championship the way we did. It was good to dominate all these teams. it was good to, run through the conference-only SEC schedule, but man, something just felt different. Not having the students in here, not having my homeboys in here, but I take classes with, not having the people in here, but I see every day walking to and from the quad, not seeing the people in here, but I'm in the dining hall with, not seeing the people in here, but I'm in the rec center with, not seeing the people in here, but I have encounters with every single day. So to get the stadium, to get Bryant-Denny back at full capacity where the players can see the student body back in here, that's a big deal. That means a lot to the players. That means a lot to Coach Saban. That means a lot to Alabama football. So this is huge news coming from the university earlier today that starting this fall, with the COVID cases down in Tuscaloosa, with the COVID cases down on campus here at the University of Alabama, getting back to having this campus run at full capacity, getting those in-person classes, having the campus feel like we're back full go, we're back full strength, we're back running again. That's a big deal. I mean, that pays huge dividends when you discuss Alabama football because you're back to having a full stadium. You're back to having students in there. You're back to having fans in there. You're back to having that pitch of, I feel at home, right? Back to having that pitch, I feel at home. It feels like football. It looks like football. It sounds like football. It tastes like football. Having everybody in one key, in one area, on one accord. Man, I am really, jacked up, amped up, 100% excited to see this. So, personally, enjoyed what happened last year, had fun with what happened last year, but getting this thing back full tilt, having students back in Bryant-Denny, you can't beat that with a stick. We take our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. Just getting started. Upon our return, we'll get into your phone calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your chats, your viewpoints. Be sure to always leave that thumbs up. Hit that like button, share it around with your friends. But when we come back, we have a conversation with you, the fans, after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up. Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care. In support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
We are back in from the break, folks, on the number one forum for Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, getting your Monday and the month of March started off correctly. As always, folks, be sure to leave that thumbs up, drop that thumbs up, give a like on the show, hit that subscribe button so that we can continue getting you the best in Bama football news. Also, if you want to become a member to the TDA roster, you go to the YouTube channel, hit that join button. That link will be found in the chat line. If you want to become a member to the TDA roster, joining us here where the magazine is concerned. But we get into the phone lines right now, taking your calls, 205-448-1358. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Guys, shout out my man Gucci Todd one time, that $10 donation via the Super Chats. He's getting us started with that daily Super Chat goal of $75. Appreciate that love there coming from Gucci Todd. But as we take this phone call, it's my man Wagon calling in, who is celebrating his 120th call anniversary. Wagon, happy Monday to you, man. How you feeling?
I told everybody Friday the People's Champ has returned to TDA. Man, I tell you what, we met the $75 challenge. For all the peoples in the town, cities, countries, and states, TDA and Wayland appreciates. I tell you, they hit the ball out of the park in the parking lot. The kids were sitting on the porch with their gloves catching the balls going out of the stadium Friday. I tell you what, 120th call. Man, that touches my heart. I appreciate it. Stephen, take it away.
I mean, this is your moment, Wagon. I mean, 120th call anniversary. You've been with us from day one, Wagon. You've been rocking with us from day one. So I wanted to extend that moment to you for your dedication to helping us, man. Thank you, Wagon.
Well, I sure do appreciate all the love, like I said, from the people in the chat, the Blue Wrench Gang, everybody everywhere. And guess what? The SEC men's basketball, Alabama basketball team has finally reached the top of the pinnacle once again since 2002. They are the champs. It's not Hall and Oates in Tuscaloosa. It is now Ball and Oates. What do you think? What do you think, Steve?
Proud of Alabama men's basketball. Now, they had me scared against Mississippi State. They had me nervous because that game was a little too close for comfort, was a little bit on edge right there, but I picked myself off the ledge, doing better right now. They got the win. Proud of Coach Oates, proud of the players that have bought into him. And is it too early to say that he's starting to become the Nick Saban of basketball weighing? Is it too early to say that?
I don't know. I haven't saw this since back in the Wimp days, 88, 89, 90, 91. I remember it a long time ago going down to Coleman Coliseum. But tomorrow night, the doors are open. Everybody better be down there. The Tigers come to town. Ooh, we're going to jerk them apart. We're going to break their heart, I guarantee you. But there's a lot of people in the queue. So I'm going to end it like this, like I done Friday. I appreciate the 120. I love everybody. Everybody stay safe, and hopefully we'll be back on Wednesday. This is the legend of TDA. He was the greatest rhymer of the modern day. He talks a great deal. He brags of a powerful punch and indeed blinding speed. The podcast world was dull and weary without a champ. That's my theory. No TDA has someone with color, someone with dash. He brings the Blue Wrench Gang running with cash. This brash old poet is something to see. To be the heavyweight champ is his destiny. All right, everybody, I'm out of here. I'll see everybody on Wednesday. 120. I appreciate that touching my heart. Bye-bye, everyone.
Appreciate weighing in. They're the heavyweight champ of TDA. Heavyweight champ weighing in, calling in 120th calling anniversary for him. We take our next call. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Yeah. How you doing? This is Brian from California.
Brian from California. What's up, man?
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know, I know you've been talking about some Bryce Young and Paul Tyson, you know, but this kid, Jalen Milroe, is something special.
A lot of people have been saying don't sleep on him, and I remember Jalen Hurts came in from Texas in 2016, put the word on notice. So Jalen Milroe, as an early enrollee, he will have an opportunity this spring. First day of practice is March 19th. I'm ready.
Right. And, you know, one thing, you know, I've watched a little bit of Paul Tyson, you know what I'm saying? 6'5", great arm, you know. But if we're talking about the build of an athlete, you know, Jalen Milroe is 6'3", 6'4". You know, he's built just like Paul Tyson, more athletic though, faster, you know, maybe a stronger arm. I haven't seen Paul Tyson throw in person, so I can't say that. You know, but definitely probably a stronger arm. You know, this kid is something special. And, you know, I will say Bryce Young may be the favorite to start, but the backup would definitely be Jalen Milroe this year, you know, for sure. I just want to speak that into existence. You know what I'm saying? I just want to let you know. That's how I'm feeling. Barnes from California.
Well, hey, Brian, appreciate that. Appreciate that call right there, and I will keep that in mind. I will keep that noted right now. Appreciate Brian from California with that call right there into the show. More love for Jalen Milroe. Once again, people are saying don't sleep on the young man. Now, me personally, Paul Tyson has a cannon, a sniper rifle of an arm, and Bryce Young brings a lot of gifts to the table as well. First day of spring ball is March the 19th, and my hope and prayer, John Ivory, is that the University of Alabama allows for the media to get back on the field. It was fun getting the little videos last season. That was fun. That was cute and all, but I miss being on the field and seeing this with my own two eyes. So hopefully, if you can hear me, Coach Saban, if you can hear me, Greg Byrne, if y'all can hear me, get your boy back on the field March 19th for spring football, because I got to see this. But appreciating the calls rolling in thus far. 205-448-1358. And I'm going to call in to let your voice be heard. 205-448-1358. Making this your show here on a Monday. But getting into the topic right now, and it is about Alabama men's basketball. Congratulations to Coach Nate Oates and this team and this program. The first SEC regular season title since 2002. The Crimson Tide 19-5 or 19-6, on the year. I believe it's 14-1 in conference play. Mississippi State gave it a tough game, gave it a good game, but Alabama able to hang on, get the win, and achieve something that it has not done in almost 20 years. This is special because after the game ended, you saw a grove of Alabama fans outside of Coleman Coliseum yelling, "Roll Tide, Roll Tide," screaming, jubilant, exhilarated, just overjoyed, because for the longest of time, football has been the sport. And Nick Saban has done a phenomenal job. Nick Saban's been outstanding. He's been amazing. He's been great. And football has had that the majority of the pie, the whole pie for so long has been football. Softball's been successful. Gymnastics has been successful. Golf and tennis, other sports have had their moment to shine, but the majority of that pie has been football for so long. So to see Nate Oates and men's basketball being able to snatch a little bit of that pie and say, yo, we're here too, that's a big, big, strong deal there. So proud of Alabama men's basketball. Hopefully, it can take this momentum to the SEC tournament, win the SEC tournament, get to the NCAA tournament, and like I've said before, all I want is the Sweet 16. Bama gets higher than that, bury me in the backyard with my Alabama t-shirt on. I'll be fine with that. I'll be cool with that. Bury your boy in the backyard. But we take our break here right now because upon our return, we dive into a conversation on Brian Robinson Jr. He's been putting in a lot of work with Dr. Matt Ray throughout this fourth quarter offseason program. Is this finally the year where B-Rob seizes the moment? We'll talk about him after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your four-finger bling necklace right now at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
We're back live, folks. We're back from the break on the number one forum for Crimson Tide football news on a Monday. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Be sure to always hit that thumbs up, give a like on the show, hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on so you can get all the news, notes, and information on your Crimson Tide. Also, if you want to become a member to TDA on YouTube, you check out the link in the description. It will show you what to do in becoming a member to TDA. But as we're back into the conversation on one, Brian Robinson Jr., the running back for the Crimson Tide, entering his 5th year in the fall, is it finally the moment where he seizes the opportunity to be the primary back, the number one runner, the number one rusher on the roster? He's right now putting in a lot of time with Dr. Matt Ray, Alabama's Director of Performance Science. And according to a graphic from Dr. Ray on Today, Robinson is hitting all of his goals in the weight room, whether it's the bench press, the power clean, the hang clean, the squats, whatever he's been asked to do in the weight room, Robinson is hitting it, and he is hitting it at an elite level. So we can see he's getting himself at peak power in terms of strength. The main thing for Robinson is going to be the speed, right? Can B-Rob get the speed? And we know Dr. Ray is the speed doctor. We saw this past season with Najee Harris. Dr. Ray got Najee Harris right. I know Najee worked with also, he had Brad Nestor, former Auburn running back. He had Derek Blaylock as well. But Dr. Ray also played a major role in getting Najee's explosiveness, getting Harris's speed right. And we saw it come into fruition in the 2020 campaign as he had huge touchdown runs of long distances against Ole Miss and other teams that Alabama took on this past season. So after seeing what Dr. Ray was able to do with Najee, where the speed is concerned, where the hurdling is concerned, we're just putting everything together and being that complete back is concerned. And with Najee now projected to be, a first-round pick in the upcoming draft venue in April, Brian Robinson saw that and he's going, okay, that's what I want. What can I do to achieve that? What do I have to do to achieve that? How can I put myself in the best possible scenario situation to get that done and to have that done? So throughout the fourth quarter offseason program thus far, Robinson has partnered up with Dr. Ray, and Ray has had him in that weight room getting the squatting, getting the power clean, the hang clean, the bench press, but also working with Brian Robinson on his speed because he wants to have the power, but he also wants to have the explosiveness, hitting the hole, being able to go north-south, but once he hits open space, having that gear to put on the afterburners at 6'1", 228 pounds and get to the house. Because I feel like that's the long part of B-Rob's game that's missing. We know he has the power. We know he has the speed. We know he has the cutback ability. We know he's got the vision. And there were moments last season where he didn't look good when he came in to spell Harris for a few carries, whether it was against Texas A&M or against Ohio State in a national championship game. There were different moments last season when B-Rob got in the game. He was loose, he was locked in, he was set to go, he played well. And this past season, Robinson had, over 90 carries, 91 carries for 483 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns, a career high, a season high, the most he's had since he's been at the program. A native of Tuscaloosa, came in the 2017 class. For his career, Robinson, 274 carries, 1,361 yards, 15 touchdowns. So he has been productive. He's always been a productive guy when he's gotten, opportunities. But now, with Najee Harris gone, it's now his moment. It's now his opportunity to be the primary guy, the main guy, the lead back, and he's taking this chance by working with Dr. Ray and trying to put himself in a scenario where he not only has the power, but now he's got the speed to add with it to throw opposing defenses, to throw linebackers, to throw defensive linemen, to throw defensive backs off balance, if you will. Now, the question to go along with this is, will it be a situation like last year where Najee Harris was concerned and we saw Najee getting the bulk of the carries, the bulk of the responsibility, the bulk of the touches, the bulk of the playing time out there? Could we see that with Brian Robinson this upcoming season? Or do we see this as a situation where the Crimson Tide goes back to truly having a 1-2 punch in the backfield where it's balanced carries, balanced responsibility, that sort of talk right there when you discuss 2008, Bama had Glenn Coffey and Mark Ingram. There was a balance there. 2009, Mark Ingram, Trent Richardson was a balance there, and then so on with Trent Richardson, Eddie Lacy, T.J. Yeldon with the mixture of Kenyon Drake and Derrick Henry. There was a balance to the Alabama running back room. So will it be Brian Robinson getting the bulk of the carries, having the bulk of the responsibility like Najee Harris had it? Or could we see a situation where Brian has to share that role with either a Keegan Robinson, a Jace McClellan, a Trey Sanders, should he be back, 100% healthy, cleared from the injury sustained in the car accident, or however Nick Saban, Robert Gillespie, the running backs coach, and Bill O'Brien, the offensive coordinator, choose to do this. But the one thing we do know is Brian Robinson saw the work that Najee Harris put in. And the work that Harris put in that has parlayed into him being projected as a first-round pick. Brian Robinson wants first-round money. Brian Robinson wants to be a first-round guy. But he also knows in order for me to be a first-round guy, I got to put the work in and prove consistently that I can be the number one back, the primary rusher for this team, the guy that can take the pressure off whomever is starting at quarterback, whether it's Bryce Young, whether it's Paul Tyson, whether it's Jalen Milroe. I got to have my quarterback know that they can depend on me, B-Rob, to get that consistent 3, 4, 5 yards a carry. Or should I break a big run, do that consistently where I'm taking all of the pressure off whomever is lining up at the quarterback position. So he's working with Dr. Matt Ray in the fourth quarter program, the offseason stations right now, getting the weight down, getting the strength down, whether it's the squats, whether it's the power clean, whether it's the hang clean, the bench press, and also working with Dr. Ray in terms of his speed, trying to be a complete package, a complete back, a complete runner, a complete playmaker. So looking forward to seeing what Brian Robinson does here in the upcoming season. We're starting off here in spring ball. Can he do it, though? Can he become the primary back? Can he put it all together? Can he be what Alabama football wants him to be as the lead back? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. Also, fans, be sure to hit that like button, hit that thumbs up there on the YouTube so we can continue to give you the best in Alabama football news. But when we get back, we'll have a conversation with you, the fans, talking one Brian Robinson after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith. Brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com now to get your four-finger bling necklace. You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your four-finger bling necklace right now at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
And we are rolling on through on a Monday, ladies and gentlemen, on the number one forum for Crimson Tide football news in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. And before we get back into the phone lines to take your calls, call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, give us a like there on the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn all of those notifications on so you can continue getting the best in Alabama football coverage. Also, you want to become a member to TDA. Be sure to check out the description there in the YouTube chat line. The link is in the description there on the YouTube chat line to become a member to TDA here on the YouTube channel. Also, got to remind you guys of mybookie.ag. That is mybookie.ag, latest sponsor here to TDA. So check this out here. You feel lucky, you feel fortunate, you feel like you got the skills to pay the bills and wagering on these Alabama football games. Check out our guys, mybookie.ag. That's mybookie.ag. And when you make the right play and sign up today, you use the promo code TDAlabama to get that deposit matched halfway. That's all the way up to $1,000. You can't beat it, can't not beat it. mybookie.ag. That's mybookie.ag. Use the promo code TDAlabama. Get your win on in terms of wagering on these football games. Check them out right now, mybookie.ag. But we dive back into the phone lines here, folks. 205-448-1358. That is the number to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. We take a call right now. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Stephen M., how you doing, sir?
Doing well, Spencer. Doing well. Can't complain here. It is the month of March, and March 19th, first day of spring practice.
Yes, it is. I'm so excited for it to happen. But before I give you my challenge, I want to do a great big-time shout-out to the men's basketball team and to Waylon for his 120th call.
Absolutely. Huge shout out to the men's basketball team getting that SEC regular season title. And Waylon called number 120. He is a legend. Waylon is the legend. Absolutely.
That is correct. Okay, I'm going to get to my challenge for you real quick. I've been watching an interview between Tim Tebow and Mac Jones. And when Tebow asked Mac, did you mean to say that y'all are the best team in college football? And the look on Tim Tebow's face is one like somebody just smacked his mama. So here's my challenge to you. Please look back to all the undefeated teams that won the national championship, compare that team to the SEC teams of that era, and see if they'd win undefeated in your opinion.
Okay. Good challenge right there. You know what? That is homework for me, Spencer. I'm going to go home after the show, and I'm going to compare, do some number crunching, do some digging, and I will be back on Wednesday, and I will answer that challenge question. I got you.
And thank you for everything you do, and thank you for everybody in the chat.
Absolutely, definitely. Appreciate that call. They're coming from our own Spencer Reveley. A little homework for me. I feel like I'm back in school again. A little homework for me. Get to go home, crunch some numbers here, and work on this challenge in terms of national champions in the SEC. But how about Gucci Todd again? That $10 donation via the super chats. Appreciate that love there coming from Gucci Todd, helping us out here. That $75 daily super chat goes. $75 daily go here, people. You guys have been fantastic helping us out here, showing us the love, making this your show. Appreciating Gucci Todd, that $10 donation on his end. Well, topic right now, as you guys are continuing to get your thoughts in, 205-448-1358. That is the number to call to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Alabama bringing another coach to Saban staff here, and this one is Ron Cooper, another former college football head coach. Ron Cooper, 59 years of age, expected to join Coach Saban's staff in a support role for the University of Alabama. Cooper was a head coach at Louisville. He was a head coach at Eastern Michigan and Alabama A&M as well. He was also a defensive coordinator, so Cooper's got some DC experience. Cooper, a defensive coordinator at Mississippi State and Florida International. He was also a defensive backs coach at South Carolina, LSU, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Texas A&M, and Arkansas. So Cooper, much traveled. Cooper's got a footprint here in the SEC, or a couple of footprints in the SEC, has been a head coach before, but at 59 years of age, he is expected to join Coach Saban's staff here at Alabama in a support role. So he could be the replacement to Butch Jones, in the sense of he'll come in as an analyst, off-field analyst more than likely, and then possibly transition into being that special assistant to Coach Saban. Ron Cooper, that could be what he'll be doing here for the Crimson Tide. But Saban continuing to find and pick out and bring different minds to his staff, and continuing not only just him learning, but him trying to widen out that window of national championships and grabbing more before he looks at Miss Terry and goes, baby, I think it's time that we can call it a day. But right now, Saban, not done yet, still trying to grab as many national titles as possible. Got to shout out Spencer Everly one time, that $5 donation, and the super chats. Appreciate that love. They're coming from our own Spencer Everly, helping us out here on the show. We take our, we got Wagon here before we take our break. Wagon, the legendary Wagon, that $9.99 donation with the super chats. Appreciate that love coming from our own Wagon Coburn, the legend here of TDA. But we take our break right now. Upon our return, we're getting to a conversation involving Alabama and Texas. Texas people believe they've got the bigger brand in terms of football. They had a graphic to come out with all these numbers being crunched on here, all these pieces of data. But who really has the bigger brand between the Crimson Tide and the Texas Longhorns? We'll squash the beef and solve that conversation right after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to stsfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to stsfootwear.com and get your All Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
As we are back in here, folks, from the break, with the number one ticket here for Bama football news in my own words. George truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Appreciating everybody tuning into the show on today, getting that Monday and that month of March started off smooth correctly there for you. As always, be sure to leave that thumbs up, give a like on the show, hit that subscribe button so that we can continue getting you the best in Bama football news. Also, you want to become a member to Touchdown Alabama Magazine on YouTube. Check out the link in the chat line, the link in the description that will show you and direct you to how you can become a member to the channel. Also, got to shout out my man, Roll Tide and Rise Up, that $20 donation helping us out here on the show. Appreciate the love there coming from our own Roll Tide and Rise Up, helping us out here on the show. And before we get into the final topic of conversation, got to remind you of TDAwear.com. That is TDAwear.com. So, check it out. For all you fans still overjoyed with the Tide's national championship, check out our championship collection merch. Grab you 18 of them things, folks. T-shirt, hoodie, or sweatshirt, as well as our Got 18 We Do shirts. Designs which features all 18 championship years on the back. You head over to TDAwear.com. Do that right now. Go to TDAwear.com and go to the Championship Collections tab and get you that merch. Cop you those T-shirts today, those hoodies and sweatshirts also today. Show them that support for Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, for student athletes, and us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine. But now it seems as though we have a conversation on our hands. And the conversation is, who's got the better brand between Alabama and Texas? Who's got the better brand here? Who's got more pull? Who's got more power? Who's got more say-so between the Longhorns of Texas and the Crimson Tide of Alabama? Because apparently there was a graphic that was put out on today by the data analyst at Texas. And so the graphic that this particular data analyst put out, he's arguing the fact that Texas has more pull, Texas has got more power, Texas has the bigger brand, Texas is the bigger name. So check out this graphic he puts out here. So in terms of the graphic, and I have the numbers right here in front of me, so the brand value, Texas brings in $1.1 billion, Alabama $1 billion. So not that much of a huge difference there. In ticket sales, Texas $44 million in ticket sales, Alabama $39 million. In total revenue, Texas $157 million, Alabama $111 million. In total profit, Texas $114 million, Alabama $48 million. And then he goes and having its own network and having the best logo. It's Texas, bigger brand, bigger brand, bigger brand. So here's my argument. Here's my rebuttal and my reaction to that statement. Texas is a bigger state, so of course you're going to have more money. There's oil tycoons. There's millionaires and billionaires down there. It's a bigger state. So of course, if you have a bigger state, of course, if you don't have as many taxes, of course you're going to have more revenue. Of course you're going to have bigger brand. Of course you're going to have bigger marketability. With the Longhorn Network, you're going to have these things. My question is, or my reaction is, though Texas has these things, it has not seen a return on the investment. It hasn't seen it. It's got all the money in the world, but that money has not manufactured in championships. When was the last time Texas was consistently relevant in college football? Mac Brown, Vince Young, Colt McCoy. That was the last time Texas was consistently relevant. When was the last time you heard people consistently talk about Texas in a national championship way? It's been a long time that we've heard that type of conversation on Texas. I mean, ever since Texas was in the BCS National Championship game, the 2010 National Championship game off the 09 season, and Marcel Darius knocked Colt McCoy out the game before the game could even really get started, Alabama has won 5 national championships since that one. I mean, that was a national championship as well for Nick Saban, so that's 6 of his in Alabama. But ever since the 2010 title game versus Texas off the 09 season, Bama's won 5 more national championships, and Texas has been through 2 coaches. It's been through Charlie Strong, nothing happened there. And it's been through Tom Herman, nothing happened there. And now it's on Steve Sarkisian, hoping that Sarkisian can bring it back to huge relevancy in terms of championships on the field. Texas has trouble consistently beating Oklahoma. I mean, the last big win that Texas has had since Mac Brown, it beat Georgia in a bowl game. It's probably the last big win. It beat Georgia in a bowl game, and then Sam Ehlinger, the quarterback, goes on TV and goes, "We're back." Back to what? Back to being 8-5? Back to being 9-5? Back to being 8-6? Back to what? What have you done, Texas, of college football relevance? What have you done, Texas, that has gravitated me, that has pulled me, that has compelled me, that has snatched my eyeballs out of my socket to watch you? You've done nothing to make me watch you, Texas. You got all the money in the world, but you might as well have a hole on the bottom of the bag and the money falls out because you have done nothing to compel me. You've done nothing to entertain me. You've done nothing to watch me. I mean, every year, I pretty much now have a preconceived notion that Texas is going to be 8-5 this year. They're going to be 9-4 this year. They're going to be, if they get, bad, 7-5, 7-6. Like, there is nothing that has wowed me about Texas. When have we seen "We want Texas" on billboards? We want Texas on posters. We want Texas on T-shirts. No one's crying out, "We want Texas." But everywhere you look, it's "We want Bama." It's "We want Bama T-shirts." We want Bama bobbleheads. We want Bama jerseys. We want Bama posters. Everybody takes their shots at Bama. When you look at the big talking heads around college football, they're not getting their page clicks about Texas. They're not getting their revenue on Texas. They're not getting their ratings on Texas. They're getting their page clicks, their revenues, their ratings on talking about Alabama football. People, they're not getting their page clicks off of, well, Texas is having a bad season this year. Texas may not win 3 to 4. Texas may lose 3 to 4 games this year. Texas on a downslide. Nobody's tuning in to the talking heads out there to hear Texas. But the moment you bring up Bama may lose 3 to 4 games, people run to the radio. He said, what about Bama? Bama gonna lose what? 3 to 4 games? How? How Bama gonna lose 3 to 4 games? How? What is he based this information on? What type of crackpot theories he got this from? What type of analyst is this? Bama gonna lose 3 to 4 games? How in the world is Bama gonna lose 3 to 4 games? They'll talk about, well, Nick Saban window closing. How Nick Saban window closing? Nick done got 6 national titles and going out the mall. What type of pipe is he smoking? Like, what information is he getting this from? Well, Bama not gonna get a 5. How Bama ain't gonna get a 5-star? Who on this radio? Who on this TV? Let me pull up. Let me pull up one time. Let me pull up on one time. How? When Texas is being talked about on the radio, when Texas is being talked about on the TV, there are no ratings being generated. There's nobody bombarding radio stations. There's nobody bombarding television stations. There's nobody bombarding to get on the phone lines and call and make their point be clear. But the moment somebody takes a shot at Alabama, all heck breaks loose. People are seriously bringing pitchforks and torches into the radio station. Who didn't say this about Bama? Who didn't say this about Coach Saban? Who didn't say this about the team? Who didn't say this about Tuscaloosa? Who didn't say this about Titletown? Like, every time Bama is mentioned in the conversation, somebody's bill is getting paid. Every time Bama's mentioned in the conversation, Bama's putting food on somebody's table. Every time Bama's getting mentioned in the conversation, Bama's paying somebody a tailor-made suit. Every time Bama's name is getting mentioned in the conversation, somebody's church just brought in some money. Like every time Bama is getting mentioned in the conversation, the bill gets paid. The needle gets moved. Conversations start happening. Why? Bama. And why? Because Bama's relevant. When people talk about Texas, they go, well, we hope Texas is good this year. Well, we hope Matthew McConaughey put out another good box office picture this year. Well, maybe the belt buckles are going to be even bigger in Texas. Maybe we can get some bigger belt buckles. Well, the high school football is great down there in the Lone Star State of Texas. So hopefully we get the high school football going strong. Now, as far as the Longhorn program, we hope, we pray, maybe they get 7, 8, 9 wins, maybe. There's no big oomph when it comes to Texas. There's no big fire when it comes to Texas. And the Longhorn program is hoping and praying on a stack of Bibles and wine glasses that Steve Sarkisian fixes it. They're praying on a stack of Bibles and wine glasses that Steve Sarkisian's the one that can come in here and fix this program and get it back to relevancy and get it back to the college football playoff conversation and get it back to national championship conversation and get it back to consistently beating Oklahoma and the Red River Shootout and get it back to consistently winning the Big 12 championship. They're hoping that Steve Sarkisian does this. They're hoping, they're salivating, they're praying, because right now, yes, Texas has got big money, but the big money ain't producing the big results. You can have all the money you want to, but if your money ain't talking championships, then what good is your money? If your bankroll ain't delivering them shiny trophies, what good is the money? If the money ain't producing you no type of relevancy, what's the money? I mean, Texas A&M got money, but Jimbo Fisher ain't producing the relevancy for A&M. So A&M is just another team in the SEC. Yeah, they're good, but where's the relevancy with them? So it's the same thing where the Texas Longhorns are concerned. Yes, I mean, I'm seeing the numbers here where the Longhorns' brand value and ticket sales and total revenue and total profit are concerned, but the fans in Texas are saying, but when is that going to produce us a title? But when is that going to produce us a championship? But when is that going to get us on the radar and being back relevant to the big boys in college football? But when is that going to have some respect on our name in terms of where our football program is at this point in time or at this juncture? That's the big thing. And right now, Bama's running college football. Bama's running college football in recruiting. Bama's running college football in terms of having the better head coach. Bama's running college football when you look at the national championships. Bama's running college football when you look at the respect factor. Everybody respects Alabama. You may not like Alabama, but you're going to respect the program. Why? Because you know Nick Saban commands that respect. The players command that respect. The program commands that respect. The last time Texas commanded respect this big, Vince Young, 2005. It's been a long time since Texas commanded big boy respect. It's been forever. Will it ever get back to that point? They're hoping, they're praying, maybe, possibly. You can flip a coin and wish on a star, maybe pray to the Big Dipper, but as of this point right now, when you look at Texas, they've got the money, they've got the facilities, but right now, in terms of winning championships and doing those things that create the relevancy, Bama the bigger program, Bama the bigger brand, Bama the bigger deal. I mean, Alabama just went down to Texas in this 2021 class and snatched 7 of its 27 national signed letters of intent from Texas, snatched 7 of those guys from the Lone Star State. So until Texas starts winning and winning consistently and winning championships, they have nothing to say because Bama's going down there cherry-picking all those guys from the area. But As always, Tide Nation, you want the best in news, notes, information, and coverage here on the Alabama football program. You can access this by getting the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You can get the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you just so happen to have the Android phone. For your audio listening needs, we got you right here, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, Spotify, or our iHeartRadio. We got you covered right here. Also, folks, if the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I'll be back on Wednesday continuing the conversation that is Tide football. You can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, have those sent to your door. That link will be found in the description. If you want the print magazine, if you want to cop the print edition of Touchdown Alabama Magazine that's coming soon, you can do this by going to touchdownalabama.com. You click join, you become a subscriber today. touchdownalabama.com. You click join, become a subscriber, so that way you can get that print copy of the magazine coming soon. That link is in the description as well. You can also still copy that 4-finger bling necklace, 4-finger bling jewelry from weownthefourthquarter.com. That link in the description too. We got some super chats to get to as well. How about Spencer Revley, that $20 donation? We have a super chats. Appreciate the love there from Spencer Revley. Gucci Tide with back-to-back. Gucci Tide, a $5 donation and a $10 donation. And with that being said, the daily super chat goal has been reached. $75. Once again, give yourself a hand, Bama Nation. You guys have done it again, hitting that daily super chat goal of $75. Appreciate everything that you do, making this your show in my own words. As always, continue to give us that thumbs up, that like on the show, hit that subscribe button, tell your friends, share the show, make this your show for Alabama football news and content. Also, the link in the description. If you want to become a member to TDA on YouTube, you check out the link in the description, and also in the chat line, it will show you how to become a member. But until next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives, appreciate, value those husbands. Children, continue doing the right thing, the legitimate thing, to not be bored. Get you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. Protect yourself, protect the loved ones around you. Until next time, folks, spit in my own words.